At 0603 hours, the Caribbean looks almost cinematic in its calm low haze on the horizon, sea state 2 light wind from the northeast. Nothing unusual for a Tuesday until 3 contacts flash across the USS George Washington's radar scope. Bearing 217 range, 12 nautical miles, closing fast. Within seconds, the Combat Information Center tightens its focus. No one's talking about weather anymore. The radar returns are clean and tight. 3 hulls, fast, steady formation, 28 knots. The type signature fits Venezuela's García-class patrol ships. That speed alone says this isn't casual shadowing. It's a wall, and it's moving straight for a $13 billion carrier group, transiting legally in international waters south of Curaçao. On the flight deck, a stillness replaces routine. Then the collision alarm tears through the calm. 3 fast contacts bearing 217 range, 12 nautical miles. The call repeats over internal comms. In the CIC, operators confirm the data twice, log it once. The screen paints 3 amber triangles closing in at a constant speed. The geometry tells the truth, not an intercept curve, not a parallel track. A blockade line. USS Gravely, one of the carrier's forward escorts, reacts first. Her turbines spool up with a howl that cuts through radio chatter. 10 degrees starboard. Wake spreading white across the formation. The destroyer's 9,000-ton hull answers the throttle like a sprinter breaking from the blocks. The order is calm, procedural, but the implication is sharp, show posture, not panic. The carrier itself holds course, heading 217 speed, 20 knots, a deliberate act of immovable diplomacy. Inside the George Washington's bridge, the captain's hand rests steady on the console. Maintain formation. Gravely will intercept. No need to raise his voice. In these situations, volume is inversely proportional to control. Comms flare to life. The tactical network shares updates in clipped bursts. Contacts closing at 2 to 8 knots. Recommend intercept posture. Maintain course. The response from command is simple. Affirmative. No speculation, no adjectives, just data. The first Seahawk on deck, call sign Razor 2-1, gets spun up. Ground crews move like a mechanical ballet. Tie-downs off, blades unfolded, safety pins pulled. Hydraulics hiss, and the MH-60R shudders awake. Over the intercom, the launch officer's voice cuts clean through the rising wind. They're trying to block us. It isn't a guess, it's geometry. At 0604, optical cameras confirm the identification. Flags snapping red, blue, and yellow in the Caribbean air. Venezuela. No mistaking it. One vessel centers itself on the carrier's bow vector. The other 2 widening slightly. The classic barrier pattern. Onboard Gravely Surface Watch notes the bearing drift steady at 217 speed constant. That means intent. The destroyer's 5-inch Mark 45 gun turret begins to rotate, slow, deliberate, 10 degrees to starboard. No radar lock, no laser designation, just visibility. Naval body language at its finest. It says everything a broadcast doesn't need to. Inside Gravely's CIC, tension runs electric but controlled. The Surface Watch officer reports contacts inside 10 nautical miles. The captain leans forward, voice steady, visible posture only. Let them see us. The Navy's unspoken rule, deterrence through presence, executed to the letter. Above the Seahawk's rotors beat the humid air blades, flexing under full RPM. Launch prep hits T-minus 90 seconds. Aboard the flight deck, one sailor yells, "Clear left over the turbine scream." The helicopter lifts nose, tipping south toward the threat vector. Cameras, sensors, and calm professionalism in one airborne package. Below deck, sailors strap in at weapon stations. The CIWS mounts begin their pre-fire diagnostic hum. The faint mechanical whir of readiness. The ship's electronic warfare suite logs every frequency spike from the Venezuelan patrols. Nothing aggressive yet, but close enough to make every operator's pulse sync with the radar sweep. 0605 hours. Gravely breaks from formation, her hull cutting through the water like a gray spear. The carrier holds her lane steady and silent, the ultimate message in steel. Over open channel, a final broadcast goes out. Unidentified Venezuelan naval vessels. This is a United States warship operating in international waters. Alter course immediately. The only answer is the sound of turbines closing the gap. The sea stays deceptively calm. The sky still looks like morning. But inside both ships, every sailor knows the next few minutes will decide whether this day gets filed under routine transit or incident report. At 0606 hours, Gravely slices through the Caribbean like a metronome of intent, steady, direct, and very visible. The destroyer now leads the formation 2000 yards ahead of the George Washington. On the tactical display, the three Venezuelan patrol ships fan out in a shallow V formation, fixed speed unchanged. Their wakes form white scars across the water, a textbook blockade line. No evasive maneuvers, no radio courtesy, just momentum. In the Combat Information Center, the Surface Watch officer's voice cuts through the static range 9.8 nautical miles. Bearing steady. No course deviation. The data repeats across multiple consoles. Precision doesn't need adjectives. The captain leans and eyes steady on the electronic chart. Maintain intercept course, he says. Calm as a surgeon, cold as math. By 0607, Gravely's turbines are pushing 90% power. The ship hums under low deck vibrations, translating every revolution of the screws into a low growl you can feel in your chest. Above deck, the 5-inch gun turret locks 15 degrees starboard. No radar illumination, just posture. From 3 miles away, that turn is obvious, even through binoculars, a steel reminder that visibility can be louder than aggression. In the carrier's CIC air operations switch from green to amber. Razor 21, the MH-60R Seahawk, is airborne 500 feet altitude, 140 knots southbound toward the intercept zone. Its FLIR turret pans down, scanning the ocean below in ghostly grayscale. Within 90 seconds, 3 heat signatures appear: the Venezuelan García-class patrol ships, each roughly 1300 tons, their diesel exhaust glowing hot against the morning sea. Razor 21 to Gravely, eyes on formation. Visual confirmation 3, García-class formation, steady heading north-northeast. Estimate speed 2 to 8 knots. Copy, maintain eyes. No overflight, the Gravely replies. The Seahawk circles wide sun behind it, a quiet psychological advantage. From 500 feet, the Venezuelan ships look small but deliberate, like chess pieces sliding into place. At 0608, CIC reports. Lead vessel range 8.6 nautical miles. The destroyer adjusts heading by 3 degrees, enough to tighten its intercept vector. The Venezuelans don't flinch. Every bearing report shows constant closure. The tactical picture on screen looks like slow-motion collision geometry. Aboard the George Washington, radar operators track both formations. The carrier's commander keeps his tone as level as the horizon. Hold course. No heading change. To alter course now would send the wrong message. In naval diplomacy, deviation equals deference. 0609. The open channel broadcast repeats. Unidentified Venezuelan naval vessels. You are approaching a restricted formation. Alter course immediately. Static. Then finally a reply in clipped, accented English. You are entering our security zone. Reduce speed and change heading now. Silence follows. Nobody in the CIC even shifts in their chair. The Surface Watch logs the exchange word for word. The air feels dense, like the whole ship is holding its breath. 0610. Razor 21 tightens its orbit, dropping to 400 feet. The FLIR feed catches a sharp shape on the lead Venezuelan deck, twin canisters uncovered. Likely missile pods. Razor 21 to Gravely. Visual on weapons mounts. No radar locks detected. The destroyer's captain answers evenly. Copy. Maintain orbit. Below decks, sailors at CIWS stations feel the system hum to life. 6 rotating barrels, idle but armed. The phalanx doesn't aim yet. It listens. At idle rotation speed, it's all vigilance, no violence. The Venezuelan patrols adjust, bearing 2 degrees port, tightening their line. Inside Gravely's CIC, that small angle change triggers a tactical whisper, the kind that makes professionals sit straighter. The destroyer's ECM suite confirms light radar pings from the lead ship. Not fire control radar, just surface search. But the timing says everything deliberate, not passive. They want Gravely to know she's being painted. 60611 distance. Now under 5 nautical miles. The tactical display flashes yellow as intercept geometry nears critical. Over the comms, the surface action commander's voice remains almost bored. Weapons visible only. Do not paint targets. Every sailor in the room knows what that means. Posture is the weapon now. Above Razor 21's pilot mutters into comms. They're holding the wall. The Seahawk's infrared camera paints the scene in eerie monochrome. 3 Venezuelan hulls, hot exhaust steel arcs across the sea, a barrier line of colorless heat. Back aboard Gravely, the captain gives a quiet order. Keep our bow pointed through them. His tone doesn't rise. It doesn't have to. The destroyer's hull pivots 2 degrees, slicing the sea in a straight line through the Venezuelan formation center line. By 0612 hours, both sides are committed 2,000,000 tons of American steel, moving into a blockade drawn in diesel and pride. On radar, it looks like geometry. On deck, it feels like gravity. The sea narrows to numbers 4 nautical miles closing. Every console records, every radar pulse logs, every camera rolls. There's no bravado left, just professionalism in motion. The next 60 seconds will decide whether this becomes a diplomatic memo or a declassified incident report. At 0613 hours, the line tightens to a knife's edge. Gravely holds course engines at 85%, cutting a clean wake straight into the Venezuelan formation. Range 4.1 nautical miles and closing. On radar, it looks like a single collision vector. On deck, it feels like time has stopped. The carrier's combat display paints it in color-coded inevitability. 3 red icons converging on 1 blue spear point. The bridge loudspeaker crackles to life. Bridge to all stations. Stand by for radio call. The voice is flat procedural. Everyone knows what comes next. Venezuelan naval vessels. The call goes out. This is United States warship operating in international waters. You are approaching a restricted formation. Alter course immediately. Seconds of static. Then finally a reply clipped in calm but edged with pride. You are in our security zone. Reduce speed and change heading now. The CIC goes silent. The only sound is the radar sweep rotating like a slow heartbeat. Surface watch calls it contacts holding steady. Range 3.8 nautical miles. Speed constant 2 to 7 knots. The captain's voice doesn't waver. Maintain course. Maintain speed. Visible posture only. It's less an order than a statement of intent. Above Razor 21 holds its orbit. FLIR turret locked on the lead Venezuelan ship. The infrared feed shows a sharp flare of heat. Uncovered missile pods on deck. Razor 21 to Gravely. Visual confirmation on weapons pods. No radar lock detected. Copy. Maintain altitude. Observe until further notice. The destroyer's phalanx turret tracks the lead contact barrels angled toward the horizon, still cold. It's a silent conversation between machines that understand consequence better than men. At 0615, both forces are now within 3.4 nautical miles. The geometry is personal. Through binoculars, Venezuelan sailors are visible on deck helmets on watching. Their vessel shifts half a degree starboard, enough to signal defiance without collision. In Gravely's CIC, the electronic warfare console lights up. EW reports surface search radar lock. Not fire control, but directed sweep. Copy, the captain says evenly. Log every pulse. Outside, the sun climbs over the eastern horizon. The glare glints off the destroyer's 5-inch gun, its barrels gleaming silver white. One subtle tilt catches the light, deliberate, unmistakable. The unspoken message, "We see you. We're ready." At 0616, a new voice cuts through the open channel, Spanish faster, sharper. "Bolivarian security zone. Change course immediately." The American reply follows instantly. "Negative. Operating lawfully in international waters under UNCLOS. Maintain safe separation." The words sound sterile in translation, but they carry the weight of centuries of maritime law. And in that moment, the ocean becomes a courtroom, the horizon a witness. At 0617, the radar scope shows the first break in pattern. The lead Venezuelan vessel's speed drops from 28 knots to 20. The formation holds, but the aggression bleeds out of the motion. The contacts stop closing. Distance stabilizes. Surface Watch reports it like a miracle in slow motion. Contacts decreasing speed. Range holding at 3.6 nautical miles. The captain's reply is procedural copy. Maintain course. Continue recording. The Seahawk makes one last low pass, its FLIR camera painting ghostly white trails across the water. The Venezuelan hulls drift from bright to dim as their engine heat drops. Razor 21 to Gravely. Visual on course change, they're pulling away. Roger, that comes the reply. Maintain observation until full separation. By 0623 hours, the radar confirms the shift. All 3 Venezuelan patrol craft turning east-southeast range, widening past 6 nautical miles. The blockade dissolves into parallel lines. The air in CIC finally exhales. No one cheers, no one claps. The sea simply absorbs the noise and gives back its silence. On the carrier's bridge, the strike group commander watches the updated plot red icons sliding east. "Hold heading 217, he says. "We don't reward bluffs." The deck crew hears it through the comm and goes back to work like it's any other morning. By 0630, flight operations reset to routine. Catapults armed but idle. The Seahawk returns to deck rotors, slowing under the morning sun. The blades fold in with the precision of a closing file. Below decks, technicians tag every frame of FLIR footage, every bearing, every transmission. This isn't just routine record keeping. It's doctrine evidence equals deterrence. By 0640, the Venezuelan ships are no longer visible, their radar signatures fading into background clutter. The carrier group reforms standard formation, heading steady speed, constant at 20 knots. At 0645, the incident is officially logged. 3 Venezuelan naval vessels intercepted U.S. strike group. No shots fired. Separation achieved at 6 nautical miles. No damage. No deviation. The ocean looks calm again, like none of it happened. But every sailor on that deck knows the truth that morning. For 12 tense minutes, physics and patience shared the same deck. In the post-action log, the final line reads, "Incident concluded without escalation. Demonstrated deterrence through presence." And as the Caribbean sun climbs higher, its reflection glints off the carrier's hull, a reminder that in modern naval warfare, sometimes the loudest weapon is restraint.